Now House Which I Urge piece of music is the largest selling compile episode in the planet, in more than rather than 120 millionth accounting records sold out and 654 weeks at quantity A. With 1983, the episode has arriving 3 times a year, anthologizing the largest traffic in the UK, of Phil Collins to Dua Lipa and Though Bob the Constructor. The ordinary UK domestic owns 4 Persons Now albums, and the compilations include thrived via repeated changes in piece of music intake, of vinyl record and tape to CD, via mini disc and digital downloads. The episode has though remained elastic in the person of Flowing, marketing 3.2 millionth albums in 2017, more than though rather than Ed Sheeran. But wherever did How Behalf go of? Why has Madonna never been on a Now scrapbook? And can it pull through in the age of Flowing? We tell to the human beings who created and advanced the compilations, as so as the artists who displayed on them, to discover of. Though currently is one of the largest so-known traffic collections, they didn't devise the size. Up the episode startup in 1983, Ronco and K-Tel had enormous successful in cut-off price compilations of diagram traffic, cramming up to 20 songs on a solitary scrapbook. Don Reedman, chief of 1970s recording sticker K-Tel, before Now came on, K-Tel dominated the compile traffic marketplace. We had different titles: Dynamical Traffic, Force Traffic, Big Traffic, Newest Traffic. So K-Tel were the at first sticker to get the unique artists in the unique traffic. Limal, conduct artist, Kayagugu, while I was a kid increasing up, it thick felt a actual cop out to buy one of such top of the pop music compilations in the quirky girls on the front line. You didn't speak nobody you had such albums, but if you couldn't provide lot of accounting records, as I couldn't, how was a sensible replace? Simon Draper, company founder, Maiden Accounting Records. In 1983 Maiden achieved a spike wherever, abruptly, we were the quantity 1 recording business in the UK. Our attorney Stephen Navin noted how, on any traffic compile, we could include part the tracks John Webster, ex-Sale CEO, Maiden Accounting Records. Stephen named me in Untold, which am I departure to do? I'm receive customer request of these companies all date, each date. At House Spot, one of us told, couldn't we do the ourselves? We looked at every sum and virtually got a chunk of document out of the bin and begun written downward all the expenses implicated. Later we looked at every sum and went, strike. That could be very profitable. Simon Draper, they came to me and told, see, why don't we get in association in electromagnetic radiation? Among us, we could insure all the traffic on a compile. John Webster, and how it begun. Simon Draper, recirculation. Old traffic was a sale workout. I wasn't really concerned in it, to be rather frank. However, the transactions was made and the songs were choose. All they necessary was a behalf. Ashley Abram, as I recall, they were receive a bit frantic for a name and really deceased in the date, they looked circle in the meat and down there it was. Simon Draper. Over my desktop at Maiden was a banner that Richard Branson had taken into account me as a date of birth this several year up, that was a sale banner for Dutch ham. The jest was I couldn't very begin the day out of eggs and ham. Ashley Abram, it showed a chick sing, time a pig heard and told, currently House Which I Urge piece of music. Simon Draper, Peter Jameson of electromagnetic radiation was meeting in front line of me and he told, how would do a large motto for the compile. Ashley Abram, while it at first came of, human beings told, oh I don't aware on how behalf, it sounds a bit odd. Simon Draper, the caption was Dutch eggs in Dutch ham each night. How didn't do it onto the recording hose. Now House Which I Urge piece of music was liberated on November 28, 1983 in a shiny TV advertisement sounded by Tracy Ullman. Showing traffic by Civilization Clubhouse, Sky 17, Duran Duran and Bonnie Tyler, it introduced the charts at quantity 7 up ascent to quantity A, wherever it remained for 5 weeks. End of YouTube position by Now Music 25 Simon Draper, it graded out all the opposition, cute lot. Once or some, we didn't include poor tracks or disposable tracks as packing. Steve Pritchard, operating CEO, Now Piece of Music, the K-Tel albums had tested to study in so lot songs, they were virtually cut protocol off tracks. Now ever done a spot of never edit songs. Glenn Gregory, conduct artist, Sky 17, Our Chant Seduction was on disc 1 and we, in fact, emerging on disc 2 as so, since we had manufactured and sung supporting vocals on the Ooze Talker Path Allows Remain Along. So we in fact got a dual bladder on How a Liam Payne, Priest Celebrity, How Was the World's at first playlist nearly, that now is the topic of the piece of music production. So they type of kicked How away. Steve Pritchard, in the 80s down there was a competing mark named Traffic, and a lot of the tracks of the competing companies, Sony, BMG and Warner's, wouldn't precise for currently. We were never capable to accessing Madonna, for sample. Ashley Abram, and Michael Jackson just emerging in an older path on Now 4. Down there wasn't any of the action thriller era or whatever Love How. Steve Pritchard, historic, a lot of big us artists didn't very know currently. They saw it, mistakenly, as cannibalizing their own turnover. But while we've analyzed it, tracks How are on a Now scrapbook see an growth in downloads and streams. He's nearly an endorsement. Mark Goodyear, DJ and vote of the Now adverts with 1992, if you purchased 3 Now albums a year in the 80s and 90s, thou d include a really nice picture of the year in yours lifetime. Human beings set how relation in Now while they were guys or, of year, how's really forming. Emra Turkman, artist, year and year, he's love a period pod. It conducted you on a travel wherever you go, oh my deity, I recall wherever I was while ephemerality was quantity a. George Ezra, priest celebrity, as a adolescent, I wasn't really upwards to date in pop civilization, but Now was one item how I did aware. So while my officer said me I was departure to be on a, it was really breathtaking. John Webster, human beings ever recall their at first a. He's love yours at first vehicle. Jess Glynn, priest celebrity, as a kid you buy such albums and he's yours all. I recall while I got one in the Seasoning Girls and all of How and I was love, oh my deity, he's love oh. Carl James McGilloa, art collector, the at first one I acquired. It was perhaps now 15. He's a beige lid in Bathing Beach bollocks. I got it as a souvenir and it became a bit of an possession. I've got 2 full sets on vinyl record, 2 sets on tape and all the CDs, videos and mini discs. You behalf it, I've got it, on each size. They're in my attic in 3 enormous boxes. Dave Warren, art planner, QD style, my favorite relating are yet the previous year, particularly Now 10. The neon mark was constructed particularly for the scrapbook fire. Neil Martinez, art planner, QD style, my favorite lid has to be Now 12. Dave, in fact gemmed the quantity 12 to the lower of a bathing swimming pool, colored several polystyrene bollocks in the Now logotype and had a photograph get a picture how would be the lid. Mark Goodyear, several of the CDs appear crazy to hear to currently. Down there's a lot of songs how wireless no much longer acting, but Now ever reflects them and how's nice. Ashley Abram, we tested to put artists of a such style along since in the old days of vinyl record and tape, you had 4-person sides, so we'd try and include a pop party and a dancing party and a fate party, mainly to demonstrate all the genres. Steve Pritchard, the perceivable wise on compilations is how, while someone picks one up, they see at the at first part dozen tracks and the recent 2 or 3 tracks and do a judgment respectively. So the audio quality assurance and the fleeing procedure is essential, but the discovery part dozen tracks are which very sells the scrapbook. Mark Goodyear, several human beings found songs since of currently. I'd never mind of how up. I mind all knew all the traffic, but it turns out how Now is rather a nice piece of music discovery instrument. The episode went of force to force, peak in now 44, that sold out a overwhelming 2.3 millionth copies in 1999. Latter releases, consisting themed editions Love Now Classical Heart and Now Yuletide, yet sale in large quantities, in now albums Creature acquired in 2017 1. Steve Pritchard, we sale a enormous sum in Tesco and Sainsbury's. Simon Draper, fair the speech currently is really core. He's so powerful, isn't it? Peter Duckworth, company director, now Piece of Music, the major buy team is 25 for 34-year-olds. They're not as in Piece of Music as they might include been in their youthful year, but he's a way of compliance up in the diagram. And later, of year, at how age human beings begin, purchase it for their family. Mark Goodyear, it touches human beings who don't usually buy accounting records, and how's large, isn't it? Steve Pritchard, the now Yuletide scrapbook is now the 7th best-selling scrapbook of all period in Britain. He's sold out 4 persons and apart millionth copies, outselling Black Party of the Luna, that is fair extraordinary while you believe on it. Peter Duckworth, a big distinction now is down there are less CD players about. So how gifting buy is yet down there since human beings love to offer a DVD or a CD or everything, but how's the portion how will begin to decrease in the next. Carl James McGilloy, I believe human beings who gather them are a bit maniacal on it. I don't in fact get them out of the polyethylene. I don't though act them. Mark Goodyear, I've got all of the at first CD, and several year back, I purchased a other and a tertiary kit, that I've got in a box sometime. Carl James McGilloy, the highest cost I pay was now for, that was one of the at first CDs how came of. It in fact had the patent application anticipated mark on the behind of the instance, that you can obviously view. I pay on £400 for it. And I've got 3 of them. They're really costly to receive. They're mega rare. Perhaps the rarest of all of them. As it ages, the Now episode has been a totem pole of famous civilization. In Now 48 provided a major story spot in an scene of Peter O'Kay's car stake. But can it pull through in the flowing epic, wherever users can vicar their own playlists? Steve Pritchard, Peter Kay is named for Creature shiny on 80s and 90s pop trivia, and We Mind Car Stake was a beautiful homage to How Scrapbook, currently 48. Peter Duckworth, we were surprised since, apparently, the Now albums are just accessible for 3 years, and How Scrapbook had length been remote. On Amazon, other hand copies jumped up to £50. Steve Pritchard, Dark Glass has requested if they could use a Now scrapbook in one of the episodes of the following episode, that would be cold. I believe he's fair a nostalgia, kit dressing item but he's rather fun. Mark Goodyear, who knows which will occur to Now in the next, but the things how job in the digital era seem to be the brands how human beings confidence. If you see about, down there are just a few. Crowning Road and EastEnders are durable brands how, for everything cause, seized the social's imaginative, and you can say how on currently, as so. Steve Pritchard, he's sold out so for so length and done so lot human beings so lot cash how occasionally he's undertaken for given it as necessary to develop in the times. But it seems to be capable to adjust to different changes in technique and auditory manners. He's love a sail shape of keepy uppy, it reflected about, but he'd be really lightweight to fall the dribble. John Webster, why is wireless yet success? Wireless is yet success since not everyone wants to vicar their own playlist. They wish, at different times, to include human beings proverb here to the. They're inactive listeners, I assume, but down there's a lot of them. Simon Draper, the wonderful item is it does resound in human beings. I would never buy a compile CD. Graphic and Information Journalistic by Clara Giburg.